NATO is the most powerful defense alliance in world history. It's even more powerful than the Roman Empire. And more powerful than the Napoleon Empire. We are the most powerful defense alliance in world history. But a defense alliance needs maintenance and needs investment. And that's exactly why in NATO we have this whole system, the NATO defense planning process, now leading to an agreement on the capability targets. And that means that we will have exact clarity on where are we and where should we be if we want to be able to defend ourselves not only today, but also in 3, 5, 7 years. Listen to the German chief of defense, who said this week on the record that within 4 or 5 years the Russians might be able to attack us. Well, I and all my colleagues want to prevent that because we want to stay free. We value our way of life and we don't want any form of Russian dominance over NATO territory.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, June the 4th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the attack on the Kerch Bridge, the terrorist attack on the Kerch Bridge, which was, if you go by the video that was released by the SBU or by the Ukraine military, if you go by that video, it was a spectacular dud, a spectacular failure if you go by the video that Ukraine released. For some reason, the Ukrainian officials and the media, they seem to be very excited about this video. I don't understand why, because from how I saw the video, and I'm no expert, but what I saw in this video that they released was an explosion under the bridge, not even a very large explosion. An explosion under the bridge. I didn't see any real damage in this video. It looks like the explosion was trying to knock out one of the pylons, one of the supporting structures, if that's what it's called, under the bridge, the supporting column. And the video just shows an explosion and water just kind of splashing up. From what I've read, the traffic on the bridge was not interrupted, or was interrupted for a very short time. That's the news, the information that I got with regards to the Kerch Bridge, the Crimea Bridge. Man, the Alinsky regime, the collective West, NATO, they really are fixated on the Kerch Bridge. I mean, they are obsessed with the Kerch Bridge, which is a civilian target. It's civilian infrastructure, so they are targeting civilians as they try to take out the bridge. There is no military value whatsoever in the Kerch Bridge, the Crimea Bridge. 100% an attack on civilian infrastructure, 100% a terrorist attack, and 100% a failure, at least from what I saw and from what I read. But Ukraine is trying to pass this off, and the collective West is trying to pass this off as some sort of incredible victory, some sort of an amazing attack on the Kerch Bridge. I believe this is the third attack that the collective West has carried out, Ukraine has carried out on the Kerch Bridge, if you want to call what happened yesterday an attack. The other attacks on the Kerch Bridge, the other two attacks on the Kerch Bridge, did do damage, and they actually did kill civilians. And I believe one of them was a drone, a sea drone, a naval drone. And the other one was, if I remember, were Storm Shadow missiles. If I remember the incident, I forgot what the other two attacks were. But the one attack, I believe, was a missile strike. And it did kill civilians that were on the bridge, that were driving on the bridge. Anyway, this is what happened yesterday. as I said, the traffic was uninterrupted, or if it was interrupted, it was for a very short period of time. The Russian Ministry of Transport, they came out with an announcement almost immediately when the news broke, and they said that everything is operating normally on the bridge. There was a temporary closure from the Russian Ministry of Transport, but then it came out with an announcement and said everything is running normally. The Kiev Independent has an article with the title "Russia's Crimean Bridge Rocked by Explosions," plural. Ukraine's SBU claims responsibility. Yeah, so the SBU claimed responsibility. This is the SBU that claimed responsibility for the terrorist attack on the trains the other day, which did lead to a lot of casualties, a lot of people injured, and a lot of people died from that terrorist attack on the train, including children. And that was 100% targeting civilians hitting that train. That was a passenger train. A lot of injuries, a lot of deaths from the attack on that train, which actually now the Russian investigators, they have categorized it as a terrorist attack. So that is being categorized as a terrorist attack on the train. And what did the Russian investigators say? They said it is clear that the terrorists, acting under the direction of the Kiev regime, planned the attacks with maximum precision to ensure that hundreds of civilians would be affected, a spokeswoman said. The committee added that the investigators had recovered explosive device fragments and other physical evidence from the scene and had questioned witnesses, injured passengers, and railroad employees. So that's an update on what happened in Crimea at the Crimean Bridge. Once again, they are completely fixated. The collective West is fixated on destroying this bridge, which is the destruction, the targeting of civilian infrastructure. What you are seeing right now is very unique. Look at how it blends. Look at how it blends into the tree, everybody. Look at how it blends into the tree. It's very unique what you are seeing right now on video. Very, very unique. Wow, what a treat. From afar, you don't even notice it. From afar, you can't even notice it. You can't even notice it. But when you come to the side, there it is. Amazing. Nature is absolutely amazing. So Peskov, he was asked yesterday about a possible trilateral meeting between the Green Goblin, Trump and Putin, and Peskov said, and I quote, Peskov said, unlikely. Unlikely. That is what the Kremlin spokesman said. No legitimacy for you, Alinsky. No legitimacy for you. No soup for you. So Kellogg and Yermak. When Kellogg met Yermak, when Harry met Sally, when Kellogg met Yermak. So yesterday I mentioned that Yermak, after the Istanbul talks, got on a plane and made his way to Washington, D.C., where he was greeted by none other than the neutral mediator, the negotiator, Keith Kellogg. And when they met, boy, did they hug it out. Boy, did they hug it out. Yermak's a pretty big guy. Alinsky's entertainment lawyer, and the person that many people claim is the brains behind the Green Goblin, behind Churchill number 2. Behind every Churchill number 2 is a great entertainment lawyer, and that is Yermak. Anyway, he hugged the the crap out of Kellogg. I mean, he really hugged Kellogg. That's very normal. It's very normal in diplomatic circles, in government circles, to have one participant in a negotiation or a conflict hugging the negotiator and the mediator. That's very, very common, very normal. Oh man, and he posted those pictures. Yermak is proud of his very close relationship to Keith Kellogg. And Yermak, he said on X, what did he say on X? Along with the photos of him hugging Keith Kellogg, he said in Washington together with the team. They're one team, everybody. I met with Keith Kellogg, the U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine. We discussed the situation on the front line, the outcomes of the meetings in Istanbul, the importance of strengthening sanctions against Russia. This is a matter of great importance, and we value the fact that the United States is engaged in this process. I emphasized that Russia is doing everything to avoid a ceasefire. This must be stopped by force, because Ukraine has done everything to bring the war to an end, really. But if Russia refuses to stop the aggression voluntarily, we are compelled to conduct operations and destroy its military potential. We, the team, are compelled to destroy the Russian military if Russia does not agree to a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. Because Ukraine is doing everything to end the war, including attacking passenger trains, including attacking the Kerch Bridge. They're doing everything to end the war, right? So the U.S., according to Yermak, the U.S., Keith Kellogg, we must do everything to deliver a military defeat to Russia, to destroy the military potential of Russia. And what did Lula say to Le Monde? The leader of Brazil. Lula, he gave an interview to Le Monde. One second, the French publication. I just like the way it sounds, Le Monde. He spoke to Le Monde, Mr. Lula, and he revealed that when he was speaking to then President Joe Bidenopoulos, Biden revealed that his goal is to destroy Russia. They just want to destroy Russia. They want to destroy Russia. This is what Lula said. Joe Biden, with whom I spoke at length, thought Russia needed to be destroyed, Lula said, without elaborating when the conversation took place. And Europe, which for a long time embodied a middle way in the world, I wouldn't agree with that, but Lula went on to say, has now aligned itself with Washington and is spending billions on rearmament. That worries me. If all we talk about is war, there will never be peace. Well, they don't want peace, Lula. Europe was never a middle road type of place. They were never middle road. They were always vassals of the United States. They just became bigger vassals with the special military operation. The European vassalage really came out, and with the new leadership in Europe, the new crop of leaders moving away from people like Schroeder, Chirac, all of these guys, who did put up resistance to the United States, Berlusconi, who did put up resistance to the United States during the illegal full-scale, unprovoked invasion of Iraq. Right? Two can play at that game. They did put up resistance to those leaders in Europe at the time. But the new crop of leadership, they became super duper huge vassals of the United States. But Europe has always been in the collective West U.S. Camp. Anyway, Biden wanted to destroy Russia. That's what this was all about. And on the Duran, we were the first channel, absolutely the first channel, to say that the conflict in Ukraine is not really about Ukraine. The conflict in Ukraine is all about Russia. I remember when we did those videos a long time ago. We pointed out way in the beginning, Alexander pointed out that this is not about Ukraine. This is about destroying Russia. And Alexander was the first analyst to bring up the meeting that Biden had with Putin back when Bidenopoulos was vice president under Obama. And he went to meet with Putin. At the time, Medvedev was president and Putin was acting as prime minister. And Russia was about to have elections and Putin was going to run as president. And Biden sat down with Putin. He visited Moscow, and Biden told Putin that the United States will not allow Putin to run as president. No way. My message from Obama, my message to you, Prime Minister, at the time, Prime Minister Putin, is that we do not approve of you becoming president after Medvedev. And you know what Putin told Biden? He said, buzz off, man. He said, suck it, buzz off, get out of here. That's what he told Biden. And Biden has never gotten over that. He has never gotten over that. Anyway, interesting statement from Lula. Let's get back to the recent news. That interview from Le Monde is recent, but obviously the Biden story with Putin, obviously that's not recent. But Alinsky is going to be joining, it looks like he's going to be joining Yermak in D.C. because the reports are that Alinsky hitched a ride with Merz to go visit Trump. I can't confirm this 100%, but we'll probably find out by the time this video is posted or by tomorrow morning. We'll probably find out if Alinsky really did hitch a ride with Merz so that they can travel together to see Trump. Travel together to see Trump. Like Macron and Merz and Stammer traveled to Kiev. Is it going to be that kind of a trip? Alinsky and Merz on the party plane, the German government party plane. Is that what it's going to be? I don't know. Macron, he had the sniffles. He had the sniffles, right? Sniffles, and he had to blow his nose. But yeah, he's hitching a ride with Merz. So yeah, they're going to meet with Trump. Okay, they're going to meet with Kellogg, obviously. They're going to meet with Lindsey Graham, of course. They're gonna meet with Trump, from what I understand, and they're gonna convince Trump, put the squeeze on Trump. Does Trump need a lot of convincing? I don't know. Can't tell you. But the goal of this meeting is to coordinate the next steps after the drone strikes into the Russian air bases, and now after the trains, after the terrorist attacks on the trains, after the drone strikes on Russian bases, after the Istanbul talks and Russia's memorandum, and after this recent failed attack on the bridge in Crimea, you now have the Taurus missiles, which need the green light from Trump, and they're going to go and meet with the Trump administration, with all the neocons in Trump's administration, the Kellogg's, the Rubios, the Lindsey Grahams, and they're going to meet to try and coordinate the next steps to deliver some sort of defeat to Russia, or at least to try and get some leverage for Trump, because Trump is absolutely dying for some sort of negotiating leverage on Putin. So that's what they're going to tell Trump: green light the Taurus missiles, and we're going to get that leverage that you so seek, because the Taurus missile is the next super duper uber wonder weapon. And so there you have it. All of them are going to be in D.C. Alinsky said, I discussed this with President Donald Trump. We want to buy weapons. This is what the agreement is about. No gifts, Alinsky said. So not only are they going to talk about next escalation steps, Taurus missile sanctions, they're going to definitely discuss sanctions. They're going to discuss all of these things. But Alinsky allegedly told, well, not allegedly, he told journalists that one of the reasons for him hitching a ride with Merz is so he can discuss a free trade deal with Washington and purchasing weapons, but not as a gift. Not as a gift, everybody. What's going to happen is that the U.S. is going to give him money. He's going to ask for money from the United States, and then he's going to take the U.S. money to purchase weapons from the U.S. MIC. So it's not a gift. It's not a gift. America, give me money. You see, Podolyak, this is how it will work. Not a gift. Not a gift, Podolyak. Not a gift, eh? America, give me money. I take this money from America, 10% for the big guy, you know. I take this money from America, and then I use this money to buy military things from America, Podolyak. You see how this works? But it's not a gift. Not a gift. Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, we got word that he will not be attending the next Ukraine military contact group meeting that is going to be taking place in June, right before the big NATO summit, which I believe is also in June. But Hegseth is not going to attend this NATO contact group. I believe it's going to be in Brussels. He's going to send a representative. He's not going to show up at all, not even via video. The last contact group meeting, Hegseth did not show up in person, but he did attend via video, and the UK ended up chairing that contact group meeting the first time that the US did not chair the contact group, and the UK chaired. This time around, Hegseth is not even going to show up at all, and he's just going to send someone from his department to attend. So according to the Associated Press and Reuters and all of the mainstream media, this is Trump's way of distancing himself from Project Ukraine. That is what they are saying, that Trump is distancing himself from Project Ukraine. Distancing himself, but still very, very active in Project Ukraine, because we are getting reports that satellite images and reports and analysis, which is pointing to the fact that the collective West and NATO absolutely played a role in the drone attacks into Russia. I think we can conclude without a doubt, 100%, that the drone strikes into Russia needed NATO, collective West, U.S. Involvement. I think that's without question. But the White House is denying this. At least the White House is coming out with statements saying that President Trump was not informed of the drone strikes into the Russian airfields. Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, said that the White House knew nothing about it. That is what she said. Even though everything, all of the evidence points to the fact that the United States, NATO, the collective West, had to have had some sort of role in this operation. I mean, it was being planned for 18 months. Obviously, there were people in the White House, in the Biden administration, and in the Trump administration that knew about this. So the question now is, and it's not good for Trump either way. Either way, this is not good for Trump, because this was an attack on Russia's nuclear assets. If Trump knew, then this is really bad. Trump attacking Russia, the Russian Federation, and Russia's nuclear assets. If Trump wasn't informed, really bad, which means that would mean that you have a part of the Trump administration which has gone rogue, which is attacking a nuclear power. Either way, it's bad for Trump. Either way, it is bad for the U.S. president. Maybe that's why he's been so quiet over the past couple of days. That maybe that's why he's not saying anything about what happened in Russia. He is not saying anything. No Truth Social posts, no speaking to the media about it, nothing. He's purposefully avoiding it, avoiding the topic, because either he knew, and now he's realized this was a huge F-up. I mean, an F-up of gigantic proportions. He broke the START treaty, right? He broke START, I believe it's START 3. That thing's gone bye-bye now. And if he didn't know, if he wasn't told, then who the hell is running things in D.C., right? I would guess that if you're the Trump administration, the best option of the two is to say that he didn't know. I would guess that's the option that does the least amount of damage to the United States and to President Trump. Because the first option, Trump knowing, is, I mean, that's just crazy. Even though you have the Truth Social post, which I talked about 3 days ago, where Trump said bad things are going to happen. I'm the only one preventing bad things from happening, and Putin is playing with fire. I can't get over that post. That post says a lot, but okay. That's what Trump said 3 days ago. The next day, Lindsey Graham is in Kiev, and the day after that, you get this attack. Let's put that to the side, and let's assume that that Trump did not know. And this is a big assumption. That's probably the best outcome for the United States, to go with that, to say Trump had no idea. Rogue elements, and then maybe in a couple of weeks you'd fire some people. I don't know. I don't know how you play this, but the first option, to say that Trump knew and he gave the green lights, that's really bad. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue, and let's talk about Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham has really stepped up, it appears, to be the de facto president of the United States when it comes to foreign policy. Definitely the president of the United States when it comes to Project Ukraine, Russia, and China. He has definitely stepped up to be the defining voice, the decision maker, the leader when it comes to foreign policy for the United States of America, for Russia, China, and Project Ukraine. Lindsey Graham is everywhere. Trump is silent. Rubio is silent. Lindsey Graham is freaking everywhere. And it's not just about Russia. It is also about China. Lindsey Graham is making this a package deal. He is all over the media now, and he is saying that it's not about just defeating Russia, though absolutely he wants to deliver a defeat to Russia. But Lindsey Graham is saying that he also demands a defeat of China. He is packaging them together. This is a package deal for Lindsey Graham. I have always believed that this war will not end until China paid a price for it. It's not just about delivering a defeat to Russia, which they will not do. They will never, ever accomplish. It is the collective West and the neocons that are losing badly. But anyway, it is not only about a defeat to Russia, it is a defeat to China. This war does not end for Lindsey Graham and the neocons. This war does not end until we deliver a military strategic defeat to China. So Lindsey Graham is the neocon hawk who has it in for Russia and China. I would say, my opinion, this is just my opinion, I would say that Rubio has it in for Russia, but I think Rubio leans a little more towards going after China. I would say that Hegseth has it in for Russia, but I would also say that Hegseth leans more than Rubio towards going after China. And I would say Kellogg definitely, he's Russia 1,000%. I don't even think Kellogg's interested in China. That's the Trump White House right there. That's the Trump White House. And the word is from CNN that Trump is trying to figure out a way to, this is from CNN, he's trying to figure out a way to get out of Project Ukraine, but the neocons are just pulling him back in. Every time I try to leave, they pull me back in. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Oh man. What movie is that from? I don't even know if I said the line correctly, but I think people that know the movie, they'll let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that's what CNN is running with. Every time Trump tries to get out, they pull him back in, the Lindsey Grahams, the neocons. That's what CNN is saying. All the senators, 72 or 82. What's the number that Graham put out recently? I think he said it's 82 now. Graham is saying that 82 senators, they want to put bone-crushing 500% sanctions on Russia and on China. That's what these bone-crushing sanctions are, and on India. And they're demanding that Trump do it. And they're demanding escalation from Trump. not only against Russia, but also against China. It's a pretty brilliant plan by Lindsey Graham, huh? Why just go after Russia? Let's go after, as the United States of America, let's just go after both of the countries at the same time. Let's go after Russia and China at the same time. It's genius strategic thinking from Lindsey Graham, isn't it? CNN is saying that Donald Trump has consistently tried to distance himself from these negotiations. He has tried to portray this as Russia's war, as Alinsky's war, as Biden's war. It is very clear that he is trying to extricate the U.S. from this situation. But there is a bill in Congress. There are senators who are trying to push through tough sanctions to hold Russia accountable. Whether Donald Trump will stay away and for how long remains to be seen. Yeah, Trump needs to call their bluff. Trump needs to say, you know what, you got 82 votes and you're threatening me. What Lindsey Graham is threatening Trump with is Russiagate impeachment. That's what he's threatening Trump with. Trump needs to call his bluff. If he's serious about getting the U.S. out of Ukraine, if he's serious about it, then he should call Lindsey Graham's bluff. He should get in front of the American people. This is what I would advise Trump to do. I would say call his bluff, say you're out of Project Ukraine. Same day, set up a press event, a media event, but speak directly to the American people and tell them you're out of Project Ukraine, and the U.S. Senate, they're going to try and start some sort of Russiagate 10.0 against me. That's what I would advise Trump to do. Yeah. Seek the support of the people if you're serious about peace. And the American people will have your back, but it's going to take courage. What you should have done is January 21st. That was when you should have said, Biden's war, we're out of it. Back then, Trump had everyone off balance. The first month of his administration, everyone was off balance. The neocons, the Democrats, the NGOs, the USAIDs, they were all off balance. That was the time. The Europeans, that was the time to pull out. And the damage would have been minimal to zero. But he didn't listen to the Duran. I have a feeling that a lot of this is connected to Trump's BBB bill, his big, beautiful bill that I believe passed the House and now it's going to the Senate. And this is Trump's signature deal. I mean, this is his big deal for the United States. Yeah, the big, beautiful bill, the BBB. This is the bill that Musk is not happy with. Rand Paul is not happy with this bill. Thomas Massey's not happy with this bill. They say there's a lot of spending, a lot of wasteful spending to the MIC, to all kinds of other groups and special interests that does not need to be in this bill. The bill does have good things, from what I understand. It has, for example, the no tax on tips. That's part of the bill. It has other tax cuts and tax credits. I'm not going to get into the detail of it. I don't even know too much of the detail of it, but it does have some good things in it. But with the good things comes 1.6 trillion in spending, of which 900 billion is to the MIC, and like another 800 billion goes to big pharma and all kinds of other special interests. But Musk is not happy with this BBB. Trump is absolutely trying to push this thing through. Tech billionaire and former White House efficiency czar Elon Musk has blasted U.S. President Trump's big, beautiful tax bill as overspending and a disgusting abomination. Trump's centerpiece bill narrowly passed in the House of Representatives last week and will need to go before the Senate. The legislation aims to prevent an end-of-the-year tax increase and raises the limit on the already staggering U.S. debt by another $4 trillion. Yeah, this is Trump's signature bill. And Trump is very upset with Rand Paul, who doesn't like this bill, says it's a lot of wasteful spending, and Thomas Massey as well. So Massey, Paul, and Musk are aligned. Musk actually posted on X, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." Rand Paul said, "I agree with Elon. We have both seen the massive waste in government spending, and we know Another $5 trillion in debt is a huge mistake. We can and must do better. And Thomas Massie said he's right. Trump blasted Rand Paul on Truth Social and said Rand Paul has very little understanding of the BBB, especially the tremendous growth that is coming. He loves voting no on everything. He thinks it's good politics, but it's not. The BBB is a big winner. All caps. How are we doing on time? Yeah, I got to wrap this up. So, the situation for Trump is really difficult, because I imagine Lindsey Graham is very happy with all the spending going to the military in this bill. But I imagine that the neocons and Graham are also probably putting the pressure on Trump, saying that they have the votes to carry this bill. Align with us because we're for this BBB bill. And Rand Paul and Massie, guys that are against escalation with Russia, that are against Lindsey Graham, they're against this BBB bill. And so Trump's against Rand Paul and Massie. So he's in alignment with the neocons and with Graham when it comes to this bill, which is his centerpiece bill. And it gives a ton of money to the MIC. But the people that he needs to listen to, at least when it comes to escalation with Russia and Project Ukraine, like Rand Paul and Massie, are against this bill. And Trump's upset with them. He's in conflict with those guys. He's in conflict with the senators that he needs to be in alignment with, and he's in alignment with the senators that are going to sink his presidency. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with this BBB bill. A lot of what's going on. And a lot of power that's been given to Graham. I bet you a lot of the power that has been given to Graham recently has to do with this bill. And the fact that Graham and 82 senators, along with Graham, are probably telling Trump, we can get this thing passed. But in order to get this thing passed, you have to deputize me as the foreign policy president. Something like that is probably going on. Some sort of palace intrigue like that is going on. And Trump is screwed, man. He can't figure out how to get out of this mess. The BBB. Strange name, huh? The BBB. Sounds very, very weird. You're into some BBB? I don't know. I don't know where Trump comes up with this stuff. But it's marketing. It's all marketing. The big, beautiful bill. It's pure marketing, man. Pure marketing from Trump in order to get this thing passed. So what else? Trump posted on Truth Social, I like President Xi of China. Always have and always will, but he is very tough and extremely hard to make a deal with. Okay. The Prime Minister of Netherlands, Dick Schoof, he has resigned. Dick has resigned. His government has crumbled after Wilders pulled out. He has been officially Alinsky cursed. Look at him shaking the hand with that big old smile, shaking Alinsky's hand. You have been Alinsky cursed, Dick Schoof. And finally, we can do a clown world and wrap up this video. Welt, the German publication, they have their Germany's top 50 power list, and it looks like Ursula is topping that list, or is going to be one of the top powerful people of Germany. And Welt posted a picture of Ursula von der Pyrrhus with the quote, "Putin has completely failed strategically." Tatters, Queen Ursula, tatters. Yeah, she's winning so many awards, Ursula, huh? They love to give each other awards, and they love to put each other on power lists. It looks like Ursula is going to be one of the top powerful people in Germany, and she has announced that Russia has suffered a strategic defeat. They have failed strategically. Microwave chips, washing machine chips. That's Ursula. She has defeated the Putin. And finally, the final clown world has to be about Lindsey Graham. And the reports that Lindsey Graham, when he went to Kiev, that the bill in Kiev, the hotel bill and all the expenses, came out to $800,000. Other reports are saying $400,000. I cannot confirm any of this. There are Allegedly, there are receipts of the expenses for this trip to Kiev. Even Elon Musk posted on X, "Why is the hotel bill so high? The room service must be incredible," with a smiling emoji. But there is a community note underneath this post from Elon, actually a repost, a quote from Elon. And the community note said, "This isn't related to travel expenses. It's a standard monthly contract from the State Department for U.S. diplomats working in a war zone. It has no connection to Senator Graham's trip." So the money's being spent, but it's not directly related to Graham's trip. Marjorie Taylor Greene says committee chairs approve CODEL's. Senator Graham is chair of the Senate Budget Committee. And someone posted in response to Marjorie Taylor Greene, "So let me get this straight. Lindsey Graham approves Lindsey Graham's own travel expenses. How is this not fraud?" And Grok weighed in on this, saying the exact daily rate for Senator Graham and Blumenthal's stay at the Hilton Kiev in May 2025 is unclear due to limited data on the number of nights and rooms booked. The reported total cost was $814,806 per State Department records, assuming a 2 to 3 night stay with 10 rooms. The daily rate per room could be around $27,160, far exceeding the standard rates of $200 to $1,000 per night for luxury hotels in Kiev. This suggests additional costs like security or services were included. Official records are needed for precise figures. That is what Grok is saying. So was it 800,000 or 400,000, whatever's floating around? I can't say. I don't think so. Probably not that high. Could it have been 100,000 or 200,000? That might sound about right, but don't take it from me. There's a community note on all of this, which is saying that's not the case. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that these costs are actually connected to the State Department, and Graham's trip has some State Department costs that are approved by the department that Graham heads up. Anyway, I don't know. Grok says another thing. The point, I think the big takeaway from all of this, and I'm going to wrap this video up, the big takeaway from all of this is, what the hell is Graham constantly doing in Kiev? Obviously, the trip costs something. It's not cheap. But what is Graham constantly doing in Kiev? Who the hell is running the show in D.C.? Who's running foreign policy? What is Trump doing? Why are you doing this, Trump? What is going on here? What's happening in the White House that all of a sudden, over the past couple of weeks, you've given all of this power, or you've ceded all of this power to Lindsey Graham? I think that's the main message in all of this. And Lindsey Graham is driving the United States into a war, not only with Russia, he's driving the United States into a war with China. Anyway, that's the video. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.